If you have been investing in residential real estate, in commercial spaces, one of the ways that you can make a whole lot of money in this economy is by going into agricultural real estate. Farming is one of the biggest wealth making machines all over the world because no matter what, we all must eat now. But when a lot of people hear about farming, they are really, really discouraged because the stress and the like, I don't want to have to be thinking of planting, cultivating, harvesting. It's just a lot of stress, not for me. And I understand. But what if we prefer a solution for you whereby you own the farmland and our experts basically do all the work while you make your money? Okumo Oil, a palm oil producing company in Nigeria, made approximately 174 billion naira for the first 9 months of 2025. Presco Oil, also palm oil producing company, made approximately 274 billion naira this year. You are yet to go into agricultural real estate. You are leaving a whole lot of money on the table. So what we do is that we provide the land. The land is yours forever, and you can choose to opt for our management services, or you self-manage the farm yourself. And the best part about this offer is that you can key into it with 500,000 naira initial deposit to start in owning an acre, 6 whole plots of farmland for a minimum of 4.1 million naira. And we even have a payment plan option for you. You can own multiple acres or hectares. So stick to the very end of this video because I'm going to share a project that offers these services, and I'm also going to answer frequently asked questions regarding this project. And if you have more questions for me, you can drop them in the comment section or send me a DM on the number displayed on your screen. So let's go into the frequently asked questions. The project I'm going to introduce to you today is a solar powered farmland and resort called Aroko Farm and Resort. So at Aroko Farm and Resorts, we have the cocoa plantation available if you want to go into cocoa. Nigeria is one of the top 10 cocoa producing countries in the world. We made 1.23 trillion naira in revenue from cocoa just from the fourth quarter of last year 2024 to the first quarter of 2025. That is over 600% increase from what we made in 2024. We also have the cashew plantation, the palm tree plantation, we have the cash crop plantation as well. We also have the livestock cluster, also have the ranch cluster. Later I'm going to talk about the revenue that each of those clusters is going to give you, and each of those plantations is going to give you per acre. So it's located in 2 locations, Ogun State and Oyo State. The reason why we are going for Oyo State and Ogun State is because it has more land space. And another reason why we chose those locations for our farmlands is because there are some locations that generally do better with some crops, especially the ones that we are offering. According to research, states that generally do well with this produce we are offering are states like Ondo State, Benue, Cross River, Edo State, Ogun State, Oyo State, Ekiti, Kwara State, among many others. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is pure agriculture. No, you cannot start harvesting immediately because this is farmland. So you will need to wait for the crops to grow before you can start harvesting. Okay, for the cocoa, the palm tree, and the cashew, they are perennial crops. So you will need to wait 2 to 3 years for them to actually grow because they are mighty trees. And the good thing about them is that when it has grown for that waiting period of 2 to 3 years, the cocoa can actually live for 70 to 100 years. So it's not something that you would need to be replanting. It can literally live for a lifetime. Then the palm tree also, after you've waited for the waiting period, the trees can live for 50 to 70 years, so you will not need to be replanting. So these are trees that can literally live for a lifetime, but you just need to wait for the waiting period for them to grow. For the cash crops, depending on the type of crops that you are going to be planting, whether it's your tomatoes, your yams, your cassava, that is what is actually going to determine the waiting period. Cash crop just takes months to grow, from like 4 months, 6 months, 1 year. Some is not even up to 1 year, depending on the type of crop you are planting. It doesn't take long for you to start harvesting your cash crop. And the thing about cash crops is that you would need to be replanting every year, unlike the perennial crops. The crops are insured by Consolidated Hallmark Insurance PLC. If you are under Aroko management, your crops also get insured. But if you are under self-management, you need to get your own insurance. We are working with experts like NIFOR, the National Institute for Oil Palm Research, and we are also working with CRIN, that's the Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria, that has been since 1964. So if you want Aroko to manage for you, Aroko takes 30% from your harvest yield, not cash. 30% from your harvest yield, and the remaining 70% is yours. And you can come to site to check your land yourself. You can come to count your produce. And if you want to self-manage, it's 5% of your harvest yield and the remaining 95% yours. And the 5% Aroko is charging you when you self-manage is for security, because we are also using armed personnel and locals for security. And remember, it is also a solar powered farm and resort. So there is going to be a lot of maintenance of the farm and a lot of work that we're going to do on the farm, even if you are not under our own management services, as long as your farm is within, Aroko, you also get to enjoy some benefits. And Aroko does not charge you during the waiting period for your trees to grow, the 2-3 years waiting period. Is when you start harvesting that Aroko charges you, and that is a very good deal. The initial deposit for the perennial crops and the livestock is 500,000 naira initial deposit per acre, and for the ranch cluster, the initial deposit is 2 million naira. The minimum you can get for the ranch is 5 acres upwards, while for the rest, the minimum is 1 acre, an acre upwards. So per acre of this farmland, for instance, the cocoa, you can be making annual revenue of 5 million to 9 million naira annual revenue per acre. Meaning that if you have multiple acres of the cocoa plantation, you increase your potential of making more money. For the palm tree plantation, you can be making 5 to 7 million naira annual revenue per acre of palm tree plantation that you own. So do you know how much you'll be making if you have 10 acres of palm tree plantation? You could be making at least 70 million naira annually from your 10 acres of palm tree plantation. Okay, for the prices, I said we have 2 locations where this farm is located in. So I'm going to start from Oyo State. So for the one we have at Oyo State, for the cocoa, an acre of the cocoa plantation is 4.8 million naira per acre, and an hectare, 15 plots, 12 million naira. An acre of the palm tree cluster is 4.5 million naira, and an hectare, 11.2 million naira for the palm tree plantation. The livestock, an acre is going for 5 million naira, and an hectare, 13 million naira. For the ranch, starting from 5 acres, is going for 15 million naira. For the cashew, 4.5 million naira for an acre of cashew plantation. Now that is actually still 4.5 million naira for good 6 plots of farmland. When you make an initial deposit for Aroko Farms, you get your receipt, you get an invoice, and you get a contract of sale. Then when you are done with your payments, you're going to get your deed of assignment, your survey, and your allocation letter. So for the Aroko farm in Ogun State, an acre of the cashew is going for 4.1 million naira and an hectare 9.8 million naira. That's 15 plots. And for the cash crop in Ogun State, that is all sold out. So make sure you key into this before it gets sold out. Then for the livestock cluster, an acre is going for 5.3 million naira and an hectare 13.3 million naira. And for the cocoa cluster in Ogun State, an acre is 4.5 million naira and an hectare 10.2 million naira. And for the palm tree cluster, an acre is going for 4.1 million naira and hectare 9.8 million naira. For the ranch cluster in Ogun State, 5 acres is going for 18.8 million naira. You can key into it with 2 million naira initial deposit, while the rest 500,000 naira initial deposit. And you can do a 6-month payment plan at 10% interest, or a 3-month payment plan at no interest, or you can make an outright purchase at no interest also. And these prices are all inclusive of your documentation, that's your deed and your survey. They are all inclusive prices. No, you are not getting cash from us. This is farming. So what you are getting is your harvest yield. And we are doing this because you might have your international or local distributors that may want to distribute your produce to, because this is farming and it's your land basically. The land is yours. We are just doing the hard labor of the farming and cultivating. So we are doing this because you might have your own distributor that you want to distribute your produce to. But if you don't want to also go through that, you can communicate to us that, okay, you know what, distribute my produce or my harvest yield and give me the cash equivalent. And we have distributors ready on ground that are more than ready, that we can distribute your product to, your harvest yield to, and give you the cash equivalent if that is what you want. And like I said, the farm is yours, so you can come to the farm, come and check your harvest yield, count how many produce it has yielded, count how many bags that you have of cocoa, of all of that. So it's your farmland, you own the land, and everything it produces is yours. Yes, Aroko is 100% solar powered. So aside from the cost of this land, you are not paying any other fees aside from the cost of this land. Once you buy the land, like I said, it's all inclusive. You're not paying any other fees. The only time we start charging you is when your harvest yields. If you're under Aroko, 30%. If you're self-managing, 5% of your harvest yield. So for the livestock, Aroko is going to charge you 100,000 naira annually, yearly for the livestock. For the ranch cluster, Aroko is going to charge you 400,000 naira annually. The title of the Aroko Farms at Oyo is a C of O in process. Most farmlands do not even come with a C of O. We are going the extra mile to get you good documentation. We have all the documents available for the Aroko Farms in both locations: the deed, the survey, the soil test, the file number. So for the Aroko Farms in Ogun State, it's a freehold. So you can do your C of O in your own name. For instance, if you're buying 10 hectares, you can do your C of O for those 10 hectares in your own name. That's the good thing about the one in Ogun State. For this project, we have 6 developers that came together to make this project a success. Eco Paragon, if you've heard about Eco Paragon, the developer that is developing a lot of housing units. We have the developer of Civic Residence, of Palms Residence 1 and 2, the developer of Acre Gardens 1, 2, and 3. So your asset is secured. If you've gotten to the point of this video, thank you so much for watching this video till the very end. You can see that this offer is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Most of the slots are almost sold out. If you know that this is something you want to key into, don't hesitate to reach out to me right now on the numbers displayed on your screen so you can grab this offer. So get your initial deposit ready right now as you're watching this video and reach out to me so you can key into this offer. And before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button so whenever there is an offer like this in the market, you would be the first person to know about it on this channel. My name is Favour, and I'll see you in my next video, so stay tuned. Bye.